son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood.
Come on here. Now notice something here, Prophetess Kelly, and I believe this is why the conversation needed to take place. Notice that there was enough reassurance.
See, stop speaking. Oh my God.
There was enough reassurance, Elder Kelly, that the seed no longer had any qualms.
Whew.
Come on.
Yes, I see it.
The seed didn't have any arguments. It didn't have any disagreements. A matter of fact, the seed didn't even have any more observations. Come on here. Huh? Are we in the text?
What the text, Doc?
No questions either.
No questions.
No questions or nothing.
Oh.
Legs, the seed, stop talking.
Stop talking. When it knew its assignment, it just stopped.
I believe the seed did stop talking, and I believe all the seed kept thinking about was that God himself will.
That's it.
There's some of us tonight that are holding on to a yitzhak. We're holding on to a seed that sounds so crazy, it's going to cause us to laugh. Because that's what happened with Abraham. They were given a word that sounded so outrageous that it caused them to laugh. And God says, that's what I want you to name your promise. Yitzhak. Because I will cause you to laugh. The seed, I believe, kept saying, God himself will provide. As he was being bound on top of God himself.
Come on here. Will
provide. As the wood was being situated and he got placed on top of it, God himself will provide. Now, this is a 33-year-old man who no doubt, Elder Kelly, has seen sacrifice take place.
He knew what was happening.
Yes.
He knew it was happening.
But God will provide. Powerful. So the seed simply wants assurance that God himself will provide. Are we out of her, Bella?
No, you're still here.
All right, I think my computer just got out. Let's go ahead and continue on, Prophetess Kelly. What happened in the tithe of this pericope? Notice that it happened in the tithe of the pericope.
Amen. Then Abraham reached out his hand and took the knife to kill his son.
Abraham had took the knife to kill his son. And I like this here.
It says to slaughter him.
Or to you better come on
slaughter him.
What was he going to do?
Slaughter.
He was going to slaughter him. But what happened in verse number 11?
But the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven and said, Abraham, Abraham. And he said, here I am. Said, do not lay your hand on the boy or do anything to him. For now I know that you fear God.
My shot.
Not withheld your son, your only son, from me.
Woo! Jesus, Jesus, Jesus.
I'm living on the other side of the butt.
Come on here.
The angel.
But the what?
The angel of the Lord.
Come on here.
Called to him from the heavens and said, Abraham, Abraham. He said, here am I. He said, do not lay your hands on the boy or do anything to him. For now I know that you fear God, since you have not withheld your son, your only son, from me.
There's a communication that comes from heaven in the midst of your stretch.
Yes.
I want us to get this here. This is, oh my God.
I remember I had to speak about this on platform service, and the Lord just gave me, I'm living on the other side of the butt.
I'm living on the other side of the butt.
That's why I'm here. Because but the angel.
It
interrupted.
Come on
it
here.
Interrupted. That but interrupted the whole cycle and changed it. Wow. Living on the other side.
I'm living on the other side of the butt. But the angel of the Lord called to him from heaven. Notice that God heard the cry of not only the seed, but he heard the cry of the sower.
He heard his word.
Abraham, Abraham. Now also notice this as well. When you're in worship, just because you're in worship does not shut off your ability to listen to a present word. Notice that God gave him the word to sacrifice his son, and notice Abraham didn't put his headphones up. Come on here. He didn't just he didn't just tune out whatever God would presently said because he was so hung up on what was said in the past. But he heard God in the present. Abraham, Abraham. The key that we know he was listening is he said, here I am. And then the command was given in the midst of worship. Do not lay your hand on the boy or do anything to him, for now. Notice that the now I know did not show up until he was willing to stretch forth his hand.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you said something there, we read it, it says it very kindly, that he was going to kill.
Yeah.
But what it was really saying is he was going to slaughter his son. And he was going to do it because God said.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That has to be a place to be in, to do that kind of, to follow those directions just because God said.
Just because God said.
Just because God said.
Now, verse 13 is where it gets better, Elder Kelly. Let's read it. And Abraham looked up, because there's something that happens when we sow or when we give and then we look up. Let's see what happens.
And Abraham looked up and saw a ram caught in a thicket by its thorns.
Notice that the provision showed up the moment that I can get my eye off the seed. Notice that. Notice this is the first time in the text that the focus is now off of the seed or his son Isaac, and now the focus is looking up. Now, I believe whenever there's looking up, there's always looking up towards the hills, which cometh my help, knowing that my help comes from the Lord, that he's an ever-present help in my time of trouble, that he's an ever-present help in my time of need or distress, that I can't focus in on the small micro issue that I'm dealing with when there is a macro promise that God has spoken. There's something that I can look in or look upon. Now, this is interesting. When Abraham looked up, he saw a ram. He saw a ram. And what was the ram doing? It was what, prophetess?
And the ram was caught in a thicket by its thorns. Abraham went and took the ram and offered it up as a burnt offering instead of his son.
Now, I wonder this, Elder Kelly, was the ram always there in the thicket, or did Abraham's look catch the... Hold on.
Was it always there?
I wonder if the ram was always in the thicket, or was it when Abraham looked, he caught it? Did y'all? I wonder if the ram was always in the thicket legs. Like, I wonder if they was going up and he did the altar. He started building the altar, building the place. And I wonder if the ram was always there. Or I wonder if his look caught the ram in a thicket. And notice that it was caught in a thicket by the shofar, by the same thing that makes a sound unto the Lord, a sound of victory. Notice that it makes a sound of a sound of word.